So let me ask you this. When you think of, or if you think of, if you had to pick one person, and I know, of course, friend, spouse, partner, of course, but beyond that, if you had to pick one person that you would say really truly served either as an important advocate, supporter, champion, guider, mentor, whatever the right word choice is, but if you had to pick one person who's really helped you the most get to where you are today, besides the family member, who would that person be?
So I don't have to name his name, but I can describe the situation. So in my first job, I was there for a few years and working for a small team, and a client called with the first client development opportunity call I got, and it was to value a patent for a transaction. And I was 23 or 24 at the time. And I literally, I think, ran down the hall to the senior partner's office and said, here's what we're going to do. We got this great opportunity, because we had been doing related work previously. And he said, no. And I said, what do you mean, no? He says, it's not possible to value a patent. And I said, sure it is. He says, no, it's not covered by the accounting standards, which was true. And it's not covered by our insurance, so turn it down. And that led months later to me leaving the firm, starting my own boutique in 1988, to take that work. And so, but for that rejection, I probably would still be at the big firm.
I'll have to send him a thank you note someday, Jim. Yeah. Jack?
I'm going to give you a cop-out answer, which isn't one individual, but I think, almost going back to the Chicago conversation, I think what's been really unique about starting Vibes in Chicago and growing it has been the number of people that have been willing to help, and I think that is probably, it's all about how you leverage your network and who you can meet with. But Gene Philbin was right here. I remember meeting with Gene in like 2003 and telling him mobile was going to be huge, and there were so many great entrepreneurs that were willing to give me the time and listen to the model and just be encouraging. And I think that had I had the company elsewhere, it's almost like you get lost in the crowd. And so there's been so many different people that have helped along the way, and I do think that's unique to this city and sort of what we've done here.
Thanks, Tom. I might just add. I think one of the things when you start a business, there certainly in Chicago, there's a million people who want to help. I think people like to be associated with people who are doing innovative things. My one person, though, I would reference is a fellow that none of you probably know, a gentleman by the name of Gary Erikellian. Gary is the chair of a group that I belong to for about 5.5 years now called Vistage, which is an interesting organization in that it's not a networking thing, it's a CEO roundtable. We process issues together. The reason I would say Gary is because unlike a lot of people who like to just compliment, hey, way to go, you're hiring a lot of people, Gary busts my chops weekly. Literally tells me I'm full of it, has been doing it for 5.5 years. He knows the buttons to push. He knows exactly what's going to get me mad and exactly what's going to refine the areas, the idea. So to the extent that anyone's thinking of trying to find that person, find the one that's going to not only be candid, but get in your face and challenge you, because what walks out of the door is a much better idea than when you started. Gary did that for me and does it daily. In fact, I'll probably bust my chops tomorrow.
So for me, I've been very lucky to, I was just an idiot music grad and started doing software development for a guy named Eric Malackowski, who many of you probably know. He's kind of a super successful genius serial entrepreneur here in Chicago who does investing and stuff, and I had this idea and he pulled me out of grad school and told me to fund it. And at the time I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. I didn't know what venture capital or angels were or any of that stuff, and he just kind of gave me a shot, and has been absolutely essential to the success that we've had. So people always ask me like what the most valuable thing has been, and for me it's been having an amazing mentor who can who has the right balance of letting you screw up so that you can learn, but then also knowing when to bust your chops as well.
Thanks. Eric?
It sounds a little bit like a suck-up answer, but I think the board that we had at Feedburner before it was acquired was really amazing in terms of helping us kind of form be the company that we were going to be. So this is specifically Matt McCall, Brad Feld, and Fred Wilson. We're all investors, but they weren't dumb money, right? They actually became interested in Feedburner because they used the product and they used it in their own lives and had constructive criticism and wanted to improve it. So it wasn't, you didn't see them, it wasn't every 2 months for the board meeting. It was, you get emails from them every single day about how you can improve the product and the different opportunities that might exist. So they really helped kind of form the path for Feedburner.
I remember when I started Ovation, I had been CEO of a public company, but started Ovation with nothing, a room, no windows, and used all my capital to start it. So at the time, credibility, even though I had a little bit of a track record, you're looking for credibility, especially starting a pharmaceutical company from scratch. I was amazed. I mean, now you think back a couple years ago, people wanted to be involved, everybody was there, but at the time there was nothing. And there were so many people willing to step up, and I put together an advisory board to help me, but also for credibility. And the talent and the people that gave their time, that stepped up, were there for me, was remarkable. Ex-President Baxter, ex-CEO of Novartis, ex-CEO of Shear and Plow, people that really, I say give them a little equity. It wasn't worth anything, but it was just incredible, and I really credit that as one of the things that helped us be successful.
So did you pay them?
No, did not pay them. Hey, at the time, we were a very small company. If we did a meeting, I'd give them a little, $1,000 a meeting. But what I had done is put together such a credible group. They wanted to be with each other.
They wanted to be part of the group.
Yeah, I paid for their flight out to California. We'd spend, 3 days working, and one of those was a half day golfing. But the concept that they were all together, they were peers, and I took their advice. I listened to everything they said. They saw that. The advisory board got better and better, and it opened a lot of doors. As I was doing acquisitions or building the organization, it really was and I stumbled into it a little bit, but it ended up being a great opportunity, and now they're thrilled. It worked out great for them as well.
I should say, that's great.